All right, beloved. So we're unraveling the pack meal of snakes that is the American history, right? And how we're doing that is through the spirit. We got access through some spirits out here, right? And we've been weeding out that yarn ball of different colors, the goddamn it's like a rubber band ball of shit of different things that were smashed together. And we have that history today. So we have narrative after narrative. Why did we go from Civil War to Spanish-American War to World War I and World War II? Let's talk about it. Obviously, land was necessary, right? What is a war? An actual war, let's lay the context for it, you have conflict both on physical means, kinetic conflict, industrial means, and economic means. You're trying to sink their economy, trying to sink their ability to fight, trying to be able to get them in a position where they're able to be infiltrated and take. You're authorizing new authority over there through your power, right? How that's done is established through warfare, contrition, economic stoppage, cutting off and corralling resources. Many ways to do it, right? Information campaigns. At the end of a real warfare, you are able to take the land that you have over-authorized and keep authority over it, whether through occupation or economic oppression or just being the ruling authority, the polarity in the area, and you have carved out like an empire kingdom, if you will. You know, the Dutch East Indian Company did. There's a bunch of ways to do it, right? Let's talk about it. Real warfare establishes land authority. Do I think it's a special military conflict in Ukraine? No, it's an actual war because land is getting taken and it's not giving back. There's no way or route for it to get given back. We had a civil war here. It was actually a civil war, and at the end, it was won through uncivilness, right? It went uncivil. When they started using the industrial crazy stuff, it was first a civil warfare where they were not killing people like a war. More like a special military conflict where special battles and stuff, special things were getting done, right? To create a contrition to where they're like in a position where like, okay, we can't get enough resources. We're not going to starve our own Americans out and kill them all, right? Civil conflict, where at some point in time, we say, okay, and they don't invade and take over everything, right? Because the propriety out here did not get invaded by the North and taken over and complete, right? A real war would give authority, authorization of authority to the people who superseded that power, okay? The people who won, right? What would happen is they would take that land and have authority over it and complete. Authority over the money, the federal districts, everything. We didn't see that happen, right? There was something kind of like that, but it was done on the sly. It wasn't done one for one like warfare, where you guys aren't the people anymore, we are. And that's what happens. Well, European warfare was civil war after civil war. But they went uncivil, and they used Americans to solve their fucking civil war problem. Not right. All of those were very, very incorrect moves, guys. Even there is authority here above this place. There are certain things that were supposed to be done. That was not one of them. Those were not supposed to be civil warfares where everybody gets their land back. Whoever helped make the win was supposed to have authorization over what is now their empire because you were in a civil war that you guys lost over there. Happened twice, right? Happened twice. And we should have been the author of your entire authority, but somehow gave you your land. And it wasn't our civil war. We came from across the drink to help you out 2 civil wars. You still have land. You still have author and authorization. Why? How? It's a civil war. You should have been paying us back. You should have been paying. There should be no gold in the goddamn Europe. There should be no gold in Europe. There should be no like silver. All the trade should be coming out of America. I needed to move it out of New York because you know what's wrong with it. It's an energy center. You need that. You need New York for politics, not for the stocks where everybody gets screwed because of the constant energies coming out of there. You guys know what y'all did. That needs to stop. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to stop. Quit telling everybody it was a world war. It was a civil war that you applied a bunch of other people to because you screwed up. You did not do the numbers right. And then when you got held to contrition, you're like, I'll just rope everybody else around into it, right? It wasn't even your empire. You didn't even have an empire to do that with. Before, they had empires where I had authorization of authority over people. I could just apply them to it, right? The godly way. You didn't do that. That's why we had to give you your stupid land back so you could have your stupid authority. You shouldn't even have anything when everybody knows it, right? Later, beloved.